Okay, well, I'm Mike, broker of record here, team leader at Compass. This is Preet. Preet's one of the directors of sales on our team at Compass as well. I'm part of the education committee. We are going to be elaborating on what we worked on last month with Mel and Sylvia. So show of hands, was everybody here for Mel and Sylvia's session? Nobody. So we're building upon nothing today. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Okay, so we're gonna have to probably reteach a little bit of that first time. Sure. Okay. Thanks, Angus. Okay, so what we went through with Melody last month was the business planning, which, I mean, like I said, you're supposed to have your stuff with you, which really took a look at what's my life by design, how much money do I need to survive and thrive, followed by, yeah, maybe you can just watch that stuff long as I go here, buddy. Okay, you know what? Free. You were gonna do this part after. Do you want to start with it instead? And then I'll go into the 401 and how to utilize the GPS. We'll kind of have to go backwards. Sure. Yeah, no worries. That'll work easier for everybody since, we're picking up from last week.
So a couple of the Keller Williams terminology for those of you who are newer. We always start with the life by design. What that means is creating your life by design. Literally what it means is, what does your life look like? What are the expenses that you want to have? What are the luxuries you want to have? What are the vacations you want to go on? What are the courses you want to take? And building your life backwards from there. So that way you actually have a goal or a number to work towards. Because without a goal, you're really headed in no direction, pretty much. So that's where we start. So right over here, you always start with your expenses. What are your profit allocations going to look like? What are your personal expenses going to look like? This is way too fast. What is your business cost of sale and expenses look like? This is, I've just put in market center cap and royalty over here for now for your basic expenses. And you'll notice that it's a little bit lower because that's a team split. If you're an individual, your cost of sale is going to be a little bit higher than that. And your market center cap is going to be different too. It's 15,000, Melody.
So it just depends when you join.
Oh, it depends
on
when you join.
vary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We have some grandfathered in and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then you can see these are your fixed expenses right over here, your car, gas, insurance, education, if you want to do any training, et cetera, et cetera. So just fill out the amount per year, and here this little calculator is going to spit out exactly how many deals you'll need based on what are you looking to spend it on. And then at the last section over here, you want to just do some profit allocation. So, okay, now that I've gotten my bare minimum, where am I going to spend my luxury items on? Am I going to go on vacations? Am I going to take the weekend off with the kids, go to Grand Bend? What are you going to spend that profit on? And really get grand and lavish on some of these items because those are your big ticket items, because you don't want to just be spending your entirety of your income on your business and just breaking even. At Keller Williams, we really teach agents how to thrive and go past just paying your bills, basically, because paying your bills is very average. We don't believe in average. We believe in taking it a level further. So really make sure you're thinking deeper on this profit allocations. But that's a very quick overview of the life by design. That's where you always start. And then from there, you go into your economic model, which, again, Melody, I believe, touched on this at the last training, but we have a couple of new people here. So this is based off of the MREA. For those of you, again, who don't know, that's Millionaire Real Estate Agent. What the economic model teaches us is once you know how much income you need to earn and what your expenses are and what your cost of sales are, what you're going to do is now you're going to break it down into how many deals you need based on that commission. So say, for example, I need, based on my life by design, I need $200,000. Well, how am I going to earn those $200,000 and where is my business going to be focused on? Is it going to be focused on 50-50 sellers and buyers? Is it 70-30? I think MREA recommends 50-50, right? Or 60-40. Yeah, MREA recommends 60-40.
Recommend 60-40, you're gonna start.
Yeah, exactly.
You might even start a little heavier if you're
Yeah.
real brand new. Typically find yourself 70% buyers in your
At
first
least,
year.
I would say your first.
First year or
At
two.
least, yeah.
Right.
8 to 12 months.
Before we keep moving, is everybody following along? Does everybody understand the spreadsheet? And everybody gets a copy of this too, right?
Yes, I will send you a copy of this. I put everything in one place. That way you don't have a billion spreadsheets to bounce back and forth between. So I put your tracker, your business activity, your pipeline, your GPS, which is your
Goals,
goals,
priorities,
priorities,
strategies. I
strategies.
know.
There's so many acronyms.
Compass.
I use 135, which is your one goal, three priorities, and five strategies. Same thing. Your economic model and your life by design, they're all in here and they're all pulling data from each other. So you don't have to keep going back and putting in numbers in every spreadsheet. But yeah, like Mike mentioned, you're probably going to be buyer heavy at the start. That's how I started. I started as a buyer agent, so I was only buyers. Really helps me learn a lot about the business and learn about each step of the puzzle. So yeah, this is broken down into a 50-50 split here for you, as you can see. The next leg is, okay, so if I need to have X amount of listings and X amount of buyers, what is my conversion on that? Because of course, you're not going to sell every listing you take on, especially in a market like today. Some of your buyers are going to fall off too. So let's suppose your conversion on those are 70%. Well, then in that case, these are the number of appointments you actually need to go on. And then this will spit out how many appointments you actually need per month. Does that make sense before I move on to the next piece?
Do you want to throw some numbers into that so people can actually see what you're doing and watch how it's not?
I wonder if this calculator is automatic. I hope it is.
Yeah.
Right here, I'm going to start with 100K because that seems to be the magic number that everyone usually gives. That, you know what, I want to make 100K this year. I don't know why this is giving me an error. Oh. Let's say your expenses are 25,000. Those are pretty reasonable. Cost of sale, let's say another 5,000.
And that should pull from your other page.
My average
Yeah,
commission, let's say an average commission of 700,000, price point 2%, 14,000.
Yeah.
There you go. So obviously there's no such thing as 0.8, so we're gonna round that up to 1 and 1 for buyer appointment as well. So this is quite literally the simplest breakdown if you're looking to break the 100K barrier. Before I go any further, let me break it down the how and the why. So the why as to why we do this is, I think it's one of the old laws, is what you measure grows or expands. Think of an athlete, or think of you going on a walk. If you train for marathons or anything like that, you're tracking your numbers on your Fitbit, your Galaxy, your Apple Watch, whatever it is, because the reason we track is without that tracker on our hand, you're most likely to quit when you're tired instead of quitting when you're actually done. So something that I was doing all of my first 2 years is I would make my calls and I would quit when I'm done. When I've heard a lot of no's, I'd be like, okay, F this, I'm done, I'm tired. And then I was looking at my business at the end of the day and like, why am I not hitting my goals? I told myself I was going to make $100,000. I'm doing the activities. Turns out I just wasn't doing enough of the activities, and I didn't know how much I was doing because I wasn't tracking it. So that's why I started tracking it, because now I started finishing everything when I was actually done and not just when I was tired. And if my activities are not getting the goals or the results that I deserve or need for myself, then I just know, okay, these are the activities I need to change. So it allows you to actually control your business on a much more micro level. And to put it into perspective, January to now, I'm actually 48% on goal, whereas I know a lot of people are somewhere between 20 to 30%. So my goal is 400,000 GCI. I'm just around 173, 175 for my GCI, and I 100% attribute that to my tracking, because I was able to make the fine-tune adjustments. I don't say that to brag. I'm saying it to tell you the. Go ahead.
I just want to know, can you give us an example of just how granular do you get? What do you track? Because it's not just how many appointments you want. What are you tracking?
Yeah, let's jump onto that on the next level. So I kept it very, very, very simple for you guys. My tracking is actually a lot more intense than what I'm about to show you. I wanted to do baby steps, and then if you guys want to book a call with me, I'm happy to do that. Put aside 30 minutes for you. But just at the very surface level,
it's small.
You mean make it larger?
Top right, yeah, like zoom in.
Oh, yeah, there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can hardly see it, I'm sure the people in the back.
Okay. So I've collapsed these tabs for you here, of course, because we're all past these months, but here's where you start. So every day this tab is open before I start any of my activities. And this is the second tab right after ITSO is opened up. And anytime I do one of these activities, I'm tracking it right away because one of the things that I was notorious for is, oh, I'll put in my numbers after. I would usually put it out on paper and I'm like, oh, I'll do it after. Never happened. Ever happened. So I'm like, okay, I need to have this open at all times. So that way, as soon as I make a contact, I'm updating it right there and then. So here's what I track. These are my lead gen pillars. I'm either calling the database, I'm either out doing doors, I'm in my farm, I'm either doing an open house. Pond is just where all our dead leads go. So that's a term that we use. You can always feel free to change any of these, by the way. Everything in here is editable for you. And last is social media. So let's suppose it's June 1st and I made 10 calls to the database. I'm putting in 10 here, and let's say 2 of them picked up. So I'm putting in 2 right there. And you can see that, okay, attempts are how many calls or doors I knocked. Contacts is now how many people did I speak to. Contact, I quantify that as how many people did I tell I was a real estate agent. I asked one follow-up question after that. Not how many people picked up and hung up on me, because then I'd be at 10 out of 10, because people hang up on me a lot. But it's more so how many people did I actually say I'm a real estate agent to. I followed up with a real estate question after that. And if any of them said, yes, I am planning on doing something in real estate, I quantify that as a lead. Lead for me is anyone doing anything in the next year. So it's going into my pipeline. Anything longer than a year, I put that into my nurture. Obviously, you see there's no column for database nurture because it's my database. But usually door knocks, farm, open houses, and pond calls. I tend to have nurtures from those. So I put that in here. If I booked an appointment with them, I log that here. And if it turns into a contract, same tab. Again, all of these options are in here for you. And then if it turns into a transaction, logs here. The reason for that is at the end of the month, you can see which of your activities yielded you the most amount of results. And if I see at the end of my month review that, okay, door knocking got me 15 leads and my goal was 5, well, something's going right with my door knocking. Let me do more doors next month. Or if I see, okay, I had open houses, only 5 people came through my open houses and I did 50 open houses. Okay, well, something needs to change. Maybe I need to door knock more people to invite more people to my open house. So you're able to do much more minuscule changes to your business. And that's what I mean by that's how you control your business. Because now it's not market dependent, it's dependent on your activities is what your business is directly associated to. I want to pause right there because I'm going a little fast. Any questions so far?
Oh, I have one. Do you review at the end of the month or do you give it the week? How often are you reviewing?
It should be weekly. I do weekly, but for the new agents, let's just get into the habit of using it and reviewing it at the end of the month. It should for the top producers, it should be weekly, because once you get more granular, you're also tracking your expenses. Where is your money going into? So on a weekly basis, you want to be adjusting where you're spending your dollars. Yeah, even if you do it quarterly, I recommend you review it at least once in a while, because another mistake I used to make all the time is on Icon, which is our group, we would have our business review, planning, clinic, whatever. And then next year comes around and I'm dusting it off the shelf and I'm like, oh yeah, there's my business plan that I did a year ago. Nothing's really changed. I'm writing down the same goals for myself again. And the reason was that I wasn't reviewing it after we did the business planning. It would just go up on a shelf, collect some dust, and then next year I'm bringing it back down. So try to review it as frequently as possible. So that's what you're tracking: attempts, contacts, leads, appointments, contracts, transactions, okay? For the newer agents out here, this is going to be your best friend, your business dashboard. So I hear a lot of agents that tell me that, or they tell Mike all the time too, and Andre is like, I want to make $100,000. Great. How are you going to do that? What do you mean? So when you ask them, how are you going to do that? What we're referring to is, do you know exactly how many appointments you need to go on to get those $100,000? Because there's a myth that, or expectation that a lot of realtors have, that the second I get licensed, my phone's going to blow up nonstop. Doesn't happen. especially not in this market. That's just the reality of it. Yeah.
Stop, it's all agents.
Yeah. If they're paying you, yeah. So I made it quite possibly the easiest thing I could offer you here is the only thing you have to change on this is not just your conversions, but your income. Your income is the only thing you need to change. Let's say, for example, you tell me, Preet, I want to make $200,000. The second you hit enter, every number on the spreadsheet is going to change for you. And these are not calculations that I made up. These are MREA Gary Keller versions. So let's say, for example, I want to make, I'm going to go back to 100,000 because we're going to stick to that example. Whoa, what do I do?
At the top, it's back, but
Where's the undo button?
yeah.
Control C.
This keyboard doesn't have control on it. It's this keyboard. There we go. So let's take the 100K for example. These are the operating expenses that you calculated in your Life by Design, your cost of sale again, and totaling these up, you'll get your total GCI that you need to earn. Keep in mind your operating expenses are going to be significantly higher, as well as your cost of sale if you're a solo versus a team agent. So make sure you're changing these according to your needs. Average commission, I put 14,000 again. That was pulled from the economic model. That's based off of a $700,000 average sale price, 2% commission, 14,000. Again, it's going to be different if you're on team split, if you're 50-50, 70-30, 60-40, whatever team you're on. And that automatically generates that based on 135,000 GCI and a 14,000 commission, I need to sell 10 units. So, okay, now I know exactly what I need to do. I need to sell 10 houses, and that's how I'm going to earn $100,000 in my pocket. Okay, well, to get 10 houses sold, how many appointments do I really need to go on? Because, of course, just because I go on 10 appointments doesn't mean all 10 of those people are going to sign contracts with me and all of those buyers are going to purchase, all of those sellers are going to sell. So that gets broken down right over here. So again, this is exactly what you calculated on the economic model. It's nothing new. Selling side, let's suppose I want to do 50% sale, 50% buy. These are the number of listings and these are the number of buyers I actually need to be working at all times. So 5 and 5. Based on my conversion, my conversion's a little bit higher, but I just put in standard conversion for you guys. Let's suppose 80% of the listings you take on sell. That means you actually need to sign 6 listings because that's assuming one of those listings is not going to sell. And let's suppose you have a 65% appointment conversion rate. Like 65 to 80 is pretty standard.
I think it depends on your skill set. That's one of the reasons that you track this is so that every year you can start seeing where's the gap. Do I need to go on more appointments? Or do I just have to get a hell of a lot better at the appointments that I don't? So 65 is usually kind of on the sell side. That's probably your first year for sure. Because a lot of who you're going to talk to kind of already know you. And then you're going to get some that don't, and you're probably going to put quite a few of those ones. So 65% is pretty good there. But again, every year you should be getting a feel for what your business is. I know because I'm primarily a referral type of person. If I show up on an appointment and it's not signed leavings, it's almost a shocker, right? So I would have like a 95% conversion. But again, it's because everything I'm doing is either a past client or it's a referral saying, hey, you got to go work with Mike. I'm pretty much just showing up and having it signed. Right? But that's where you want to know in your business, where are you getting to? Where am I at? So I would think that you're at a pretty good level there, around 65% when you're beginning, and you want to try to get that as high as you can, right? That's why you track every single thing you do. So that I can go on 10 appointments and I'm going to sign 8 of them without a doubt. Now I know exactly what I'm doing all year long, right? The more you know your numbers, the more you're in tune with your business, the more predictable your business can become. And that's really what every one of us wants, right? This is a eat what you kill type of business, and you never really know what next year looks like. But if you can start to get very predictable with the way your business can look, all of a sudden January 1's not quite so scary.
And if you forget anything I'm saying here, I put in instructions in red on every spreadsheet of what you need to be doing. So those are there for you as well. So yeah, let's get back into it. So let's suppose you're converting your appointments, meaning if I'm sitting in front of seller, Mike, I have a 65% chance of converting him.
Give me 40.
So that means I actually need to go on 9 appointments in order to get 6 contracts signed, in order to get 5 listings sold. Following so far? Awesome. And I've broken that into 45 weeks. Obviously, you don't want to be working 52 weeks. You want to be taking some time off. You're probably going to be sick once in a while. So assuming you're working 46 weeks, 10 and a half months roughly, that comes out to you need 1 appointment a month for a seller and 1 buyer appointment. Same conversion broken down over here for buyers as well. So it's super simple for you. Just all you need to focus on a monthly basis is I need to go on 1 seller appointment and 1 buyer appointment. That's it. And then we're going to break it down even further. Okay, so how do I get those appointments? How many leads do I need to get those appointments, and how many contacts do I need?
Where are you getting those?
Again, those numbers are right over here. So this is based on a 1 to 5 conversion ratio for your leads, which means every 5 leads will get you 1 appointment. And contacts are on a 12 to 1. So every 12 people you speak to, 1 of them is going to be a lead. So let me say that again. Every 12 people you speak to, 1 of them is going to be a lead, and every 5 leads you get, 1 of them is going to be an appointment. Make sense? So if my goal is 1 seller appointment, I need to speak to 1 times 5, 5 leads I need, 5 times 12, whatever that number is, I need to speak to
What's this contact?
60 contacts. You had a question?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, is that like an average of you or an average of just in general?
Average of millionaire real estate agents. So
That's the next book that I'll be reading, but I haven't read it, so.
exactly. I
That's
definitely
your
recommend
blueprint.
it. That's your
That's
blueprint
where all
for
this comes
everything you do.
Yeah.
MREA is actually Gary Keller, the owner of Keller Williams, Jay Papazan got together and reviewed the business of all the top agents in North America. And these were the numbers that they actually deduced.
And that was cross-platform. That wasn't you just want to talk to the best Keller agents. They went and spoke to everybody.
Remax, Roll, Page,
It was,
Coco, everyone.
you had to be earning $1 million after taxes, after everything, in order to make that list. And that was like 15 or 16 years ago. So put that in perspective. Today's agent, you're probably making like 3-4 million a year to get on that list to even be spoken to. Then they took all of that data, drilled it down to this is what they all do very similar. This is what you need to do to follow the path. And anyways, that's where all your numbers are coming from. It's not for making them. It's coming from sources.
And the new number, actually, we just found out a month ago at the reboot, is 247 contacts to 1 transaction. Is the new number.
Wasn't that to an appointment?
Probably an appointment.
He went to a transaction.
That was to get your appointment. Yeah, I know it was massive.
To an appointment.
It was a massive shift.
Using what lead gen, sorry, track lead gen source?
Yeah, that must be cold.
Yeah.
It's cold
Yeah,
contacts.
so that's not the database.
Yeah, it's 247 cold contacts to get an appointment, because of how tough this market is. You know, you're
Yeah.
getting a lot more no's.
Yeah.
So here, I'm just about to break it down. I can skip a couple of steps before I come back. You can see your monthly contact goal is just 109. So now if your goal is 2 appointments a month, and now the new numbers state that it's 250 contacts just to get 1 appointment, you really need to be doing 500 contacts to get 2 appointments based on the new numbers. So that monthly goal of 100 contacts might not be valid. But again, you change these based on the conversion you have. And keep in mind that that 500 contacts is purely cold contacts. So if you have a good database, if you're doing open houses where the active buyers are, you probably need less contacts. More like these numbers here.
And I'll add that's what the skills come into play too, so the better you can objection handle, field those questions.
Exactly.
Your conversions are gonna be better.
Exactly.
So I'd say those conversions on the MRA are more on the conservative side. And I would almost say it's like the worst case scenario, and your skills will help you with those conversions.
Exactly. And keep in mind, I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible for
Yeah.
you. So this is 27 contacts a week. I'm sitting at just around 25 to 30 contacts a day. So this is just built to get you into the habit of actually tracking and actually making your contacts. So this is going to come out to 5 contacts a day for you. That's all you need to do is talk to 5 people who have a real estate need. And I think Gary's been saying that for the last 50 years is just talk to 5 people. That's all you need to do. I think it's changed to 25 a day now, but that's more for the high producers. So let's jump back here is, okay, so now that I know what my appointment goal is, how many contacts is that going to take? So like your question here, it's broken down into MREA numbers. Based on these calculations, it's going to tell you that you need to talk to 109 people a month. So keep in mind 109 contacts, not 109 pickups, 109 people that you had a real estate conversation with. And based on those 109 contacts, you should typically generate 9 leads from those 109 contacts. From those 9 leads, you should be booking 2 appointments. You should be holding 2 appointments. And from those 2 appointments you held, you should be signing 1 contract, again, based off of MREA conversions. And because you have a conversion, depending on what your conversion is, that 1 contract should lead to 1 transaction a month. So this is where your monthly review is really helpful, because if you're sitting down and you see, okay, I only got 5 leads from my 109 contacts, that tells you need to be doing more contacts because you should be at 9 leads. Because if you're not booking your appointments, you can see, okay, which of these activities needs to change such that I can get to my 1 transaction a month. Because let's say, for example, I have the contacts, I have the leads, but I'm not booking the appointments. That tells me either my quality of leads is low, or I need to do more of leads. So now I know exactly where my business needs to be tweaked to get the bottom end of the result, which is the contracts, the appointments, and the transactions. You could be doing 200 contacts, but if you're not getting the appointments, that means your skill set needs to improve and your conversions need to change. So that way you can get to those 1 appointments and 1 contracts, 1 transaction.
So let's jump and show them what the 135 is. Because what you've got now is you've got your business plan in front of you, right? It's taking everything that you just talked about, and what it does is it now gives you, this is kind of your roadmap. Let's call it your success strategies. What you want to be focused on here is, what's my 1 goal? We saw that it's 100,000 net income. It's just pulling for you, right? So that's my goal. Now, what we worked on last month was coming up with, okay, what are my priorities to hit that goal? So what Preet's got in here is, he's got his social media, he's got his pond calls, he's got his door knocks, he's got his farm. So those may look like these are my priorities in order to hit my goal. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to think about, what am I going to do with each one of those priorities in order to make that priority work? So if I've got a priority number 1 of, let's say, farm, I've got a farm I'm working in. What's the first strategy? Well, I'm going to be out in that farm and I'm going to be probably prospecting. I might be throwing client events. That might be strategy 2. Strategy 3 could look like, maybe I'm doing some mailers out to the farm. But this is where you start really building out what it is I'm going to do to hit my priority, right? You might have a priority set that I need to grow my database by 700 people this year, right? Now, if I have to grow my database with 700 people, what are the steps I'm going to take to get there? Simple. These are now my strategies. And the way that this all intertwines, because this is what we're really coming to today, is your 411. That's what we want to really get a good grasp on. This is how we do not fall apart. Where is it? 411.
Sorry, I don't think I have 411 on here.
No. Well, here it is. Here it is.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Wasn't it his 135?
Damn it, Preet. Your 411. So this is where you're taking that GPS and you're bringing it into my weekly sessions. Okay, 411. So I've got 1 goal. Thank you. So I've got 1 goal. I have 12 months. I have 4 weeks to get to it, right? And what you want to really be focused on here is, when I look at my GPS, what is my strategy? These 2 documents go hand in hand. Too often people think of them as, this is one thing and this is my other. But it's your GPS, your business plan, your roadmap that's going to funnel your 411. 411 is simply your accountability. What am I doing each week to hit my monthly goal? And if I hit my monthly goal, that's going to let me hit my yearly goal. So each month might have a different goal, right? You don't necessarily want to build this thing out, hey, I want to do 100,000 transactions, and therefore every week looks the same. Because can we all agree that priorities are not always your number 1 priority, right? Let's say, for example, I had farm as a priority. I had database building as a part. Well, what's more important to me here? If I was to get those 700 contacts that I want to put into my database, if I did that slowly over the course of every week, every month for the whole year, is that going to yield me the same results as if I nailed 700 people in that database in the first quarter? And now I can nurture them for the next 3 quarters. Which one of those is going to give me a better result? So what I want to be focused on probably in that scenario is if I know that I need my database to get X amount of contacts to provide me a business that I can rely on, a model that I know is going to be replicatable, I want to get those contacts done first. That's my first quarter. So my 411 for quarter 1, 2, and 3 might be wholly focused on just database building. That might be my strategy. I might be a newer agent. That's what I'm going to be putting in my strategy for the first quarter. And I'm going to give all my weight to that. So now what you want to look at is what are my actions on a weekly basis to hit that monthly goal. So my monthly goal over the first quarter was, let's say I want to put, what's that work out to? 150 people in my database, going to be 150, 300, 450. So there's almost my 500 I want in the first quarter. What am I doing every day to get there? So week 1, maybe you're going to pull your numbers, and I know to talk to this many people, this is how it takes to get to my database. So I might need to make, 25 contacts on a daily basis to get enough people into my database over the course of the week that's going to funnel my monthly, which is going to work out to my yearly, right? It might look like, you have to ensure that you are knocking so many doors, like you're going to break it all up that way and get granular so I know what I'm doing every day for the week. And then what the true power of a 411 is the accountability that comes with it. You can write all that shit down. Oops, am I being recorded? I am, aren't I? You can write all that stuff down all you want, but if you're not actually being held accountable to it, then really and truly it just becomes another piece of paper that's going to sit on your desk and gonna, get a little bit of dust on there. You're gonna take a look at it once every now and then. So either I know if you work with productivity coaching, they do 411 sessions, correct? If you're on a team, likely your team leader is going to be doing a 411 session with you. And what I want to do right now is I want to go through a mock session so that you can see what it's supposed to look like. And if you don't have an accountability partner, this is what you're going to do with them. All right, now, Preet, you and I go through this every week. Yep. For the better part of 2 years. So this is going to seem familiar. Let's go through it the same way we would. And let's give an example of how accountability actually works. Okay?
So usually we start at the simplest. So Mike always wants to know what my goal was and what I accomplished. So the first thing I always do, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say there's four main questions in your 401 coming right out of Coach Skills Camp.
Write them down, get your notebook.
Get your notebook.
Get your laptop out, get your phone out, write these down.
This is what it is. Question number 1. Preet, what was the goal this week?
Mike, the goal was 27 contacts, 2 leads, 1 appointment. Well, obviously 0 contract is a little bit low because you can see your goals are low, but let's just say 1 contract and 1 transaction.
Okay. So that was your goal, Preet. Now, what were your results over the past 7 days?
Well, I got to 30 contacts. I got 2 leads. I booked an appointment. The appointment is this week, so I'll let you know if I sign the contract or not. And we did not have any transactions.
Okay. Now, when you take a look back at your last 7 days, what do you feel about those results?
Well, I'm on pace with my activities for both my contacts and appointments. My contacts and my leads clearly, and I got the appointment. I just wondering if I should have got that contract signed before I met with you. Maybe I could have gotten it to a transaction before this meeting.
Okay, so first of all, Preet, you're hitting most of your objectives for them. That's awesome. Way to go. You hit your contacts, you hit your appointments. You fell short on the contract portion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So question 3. Preet, what do you think it is that you can work on differently next week that's going to ensure that you do hit that contract goal you missed out on this week? What can we do differently?
I think either I just have to book my appointment sooner, so that way, I can get the contract signed quicker, or maybe I just go on 2 appointments next time, so that way if one of my appointment cancels or reschedule, I can at least have that contract signed.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is then You think you probably have to get an extra appointment in there to make it hold?
Probably.
Okay, so if you need an extra appointment next week, and you gotta make up for the contract you didn't get signed this week, what is it that we have to actually do with your numbers in order to get that to work out?
I think I'm gonna have to increase the number of leads, and in order to do that, I'm just gonna have to talk to more people. So if I'm doubling it, I probably need to talk to 50 people as opposed to 25.
Okay, so for this week, you're gonna catch up by making sure you talk to 50 people.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Preet, if you don't come back next week with that 50 person that you set out for yourself, what is it that we can do to hold you accountable to make sure that you get there? Is there something that you want to say? I don't know, give me $100 to KW Cares? If you don't do it?
Well, no, I'm broke, so I think I'll just do an extra open house. I hate doing open houses. I don't like giving up my weekends, so I'll just do 2 extra open houses.
Okay. So then if you don't come with your 50 contacts, you're more than willing to say, you know what? I'm gonna go and work 2 open houses that weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna hold you accountable to that.
Okay.
Feet to the fire?
Yes.
All right. Now, Bree, is there anything else that I can help you with this week to make sure that you're able to stick to that plan, to that?
If don't want to make I don't want to lose too many days and then realize on Friday that shit I don't have my appointment. So why don't I just shoot you a text on Wednesday to see if I booked 1 appointment at least, and then that way at least I'm halfway to my goal.
Okay, so on Wednesday, we're gonna do a midweek check-in.
Yeah.
Okay. Love it, Bree. Way to go. So what you can see is that what we've done here is, you know that you can lose a day, and your year's fine, right? If I lost 2 days this week, could my year still be fine? Probably. What happens if I lost the week and I don't do anything to make up for it? Compounds. Now, what if I lost week 2 in a row? Do you think I'm gonna make my month? No. So if I've lost the month, can I make the year? Or I'm gonna have to really, really change my strategy because I've just lost a month.
Unless you replace, not erase.
Well, that's just it. And so if you've let a whole month go by, you now have to somehow make up another month in the rest of your 46 weeks that you've got left. So what this is doing for us is it's just really, really making sure that on a weekly basis, you know, fell behind by a contract in that week. You're not gonna go 2 weeks without making that back up, right? You can make up a week, not too badly, but to start making up a month, or forbid you got 2 months behind, now you get into a place where we're not having this same accountability session about what are you gonna do to make up. We're now having a conversation that looks like, so Preet, what's your new goal? Because you're not getting there. What did you choose to do last week instead of making sure that you got to your goal? Because now it's shot. So what do you want to go without? What are you okay to go without off of your life by design?
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to cancel my vacation because I can't afford it anymore.
Well, it's not gonna feel too good. Think you can still make it up?
Yeah, I definitely do want to make it up because I already promised the wife and the kids I'm gonna take them out. I don't want to cancel the tickets because that's not gonna look good.
So you're at 50 conversations a week now for how many weeks to make sure that you catch back up after losing the month?
Oh, I'm gonna have to do it for 4 weeks because I lost an entire month.
Okay. And so the first week you come back and not having those 50 contacts, you go to call your wife and say, hey, we can't do the vacation because I decided not to do my job this week.
Yeah, I'm not making that call. I'm getting those 50 contacts.
It's probably a good idea. Yeah. Right, so you want to make sure that there's something that you're attached to in here that you're gonna strive for. I mean, we talk about what's our big why all the time, and I mean, because nobody was here last week, we're sort of trying to patch 2 courses together, but we started with your big why, right? What is driving me? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why do you get up every day and get told to F off on the phone?
For my family, for my parents and my future family.
So if you had to break down, do you know what your why is?
Yeah, it's quite lengthy, but the small version of it is so that way neither my past or my future generation and my family can ever get to hear no from me. If they ever need me to pay a medical bill, education bill, or anything like that, I want to be in a position where I can never have to say no to them.
I can tell you how strong that drive is with this person, because we've been doing this for about 2 years together. And I can count on one hand how many times he came in and didn't have his contact going for like one hand over 2 years. And every single time that you haven't, you bounce back the next week and you're like, screw it, man. I'm here till 7 o'clock every night this week till I hit it. So when you can find what really drives you, you can understand how to put that as, your accountability portion of your 411. You're gonna find yourself in a place of high accountability. High achievers want high accountability, right? Anybody in here that doesn't like to be held accountable?
Well, after you said that, no one's gonna put their hand up.
Perfect. So you're all in the right room. What I'd love for everybody to do, because this is what we were really hoping to do with you all today, was to workshop your GPS and your 411 to make sure that they were cohesive. Fortunately, we were not able to get to that because nobody brought them with them, which wasn't done last month. What I'd like for everybody to do is you're gonna get a copy of this spreadsheet. In fact, do you think we could have Amanda send it out right away to everybody in here?
She has the copy of it?
Yes, she put all this up for us.
Okay, so I'll get her to put it in Slack. I'm assuming everyone has
Everybody's on Slack?
access to Slack? Okay.
What the hell's a Slack?
Are you serious?
No, I have Slack.
You talk to me all the time.
I have Slack. He doesn't have Slack. He's like, do you have Slack?
We have 15 minutes. Let's get all this stuff to you guys right away. And what I'd
Yeah.
like to at the very least start is let's get you going on your 135s. All right. So while we're in the room, if you have questions, we can help you through that portion of it. And then homework, translate that into your 411. And I'm more than happy to take a look at both of those with you guys. You came today. I'm more than happy to set 5 separate appointments with each one of you if you want to go through how they're correlating. Is it making sense what I'm doing? And then, you're set up for success. Your mid-year business plan is done. So start planning it for the rest of the year. That way you have something to focus on July through, say, halfway through October. Not much of things that you do after October is going to translate to anything for you this year, right? It's all next year's stuff. So really and truly, you've got, I don't know, a quarter left to make your goals happen for the year. So if you're off pace, Tyrus, what? Don't you know it's only July? You gotta put a quarter. You have 3 months left to really push to get your goals done. So if you can,
He's gonna pop it in the general channel in Slack.
perfect.
Okay.
And then you guys can start getting going. Just start filling this stuff out. Your life by design. Start there. That'll give you everything that you need to know to start populating what's left. So go through with what do you need from now to the end of the year. If that's, I need to make another 125 grand before the end of the year, then we're gonna base the rest of this year off of those numbers. So don't start with your whole year because you got already. It's gone. We lost the first 6 months.
So if I have a 411 done, basically start from now, then.
Yeah, I want you to just take this as though it's the rest of the year, right? It's all we have left. Preet, if you took out the 46 weeks and just changed it to what do we have left? We've got August, September, October. Let's call it 3 months.
Yep.
So, 4 times something was usually an extra week over the course of a quarter. You got about 13 weeks left to hit your goal for this year. So what are you at? What did you want to be at? And what do I have to do over the next 13 weeks to get it done?
Yeah, so these calculations are set for 10.5 months, but let's suppose you only have 3 months left. You do that and you can see these numbers will change. So depending on what you want to change, you can always just feel free to go into the formula and change it.
So while we have you in the room with us, this is a perfect time to get
There you go.
this first part of it started. And then that way, if you really, really want to get granular with your numbers and stay highly accountable to what it is that you're supposed to do, so you don't have to call your wife and say, we're not going on vacation because I chose not to work this week. Trust me, divorce is much more expensive than a vacation.
I'm assuming you're speaking from experience.
No.
The way you said that so confidently.
So yeah, well, we got Preet in the room. He can work us through these calculations to make sure that everything's tracking for you. And then you can go home and you can really start putting this to use. And really, it's what allows you to be predictable for the rest of your year.
There you go. It's done. So now, if supposing we only have, like Mike mentioned, only a quarter left, you need to be doing 382 contacts a month. That comes out to just under 100 contacts a week, 8 leads, 2 appointments, 2 contracts signed, and that needs to change.
Yeah, so I think.
Oh, 3 transactions a month.
You can go ahead and download that, and Preet will work with each one of you if you want to move forward using it. Can work with each one of you to get that page set up.
Comes out to 4 transactions a month. There you go.
Mike, is this what you guys actually use to track your numbers, that Excel?
The one that we use is a little more in depth, because Preet is like a beautiful mind when it comes to Excel stuff. And it's a little more difficult to teach it all to you guys what he's tracking. This is a great way to get started. You know, if you start getting the feel for what this one does, this is going to teach you enough that if you use it for a year, it's going to teach you enough to know what's my conversion rates actually looking like. Where's my source of business the strongest? That's really what you want out of the first year working with properly tracking. Has anybody spent? You guys are all seasoned agents, correct? That's left in here. You guys have been around a while. No.
He's not, I'm not an agent.
Oh,
I'm just here to make sure he gets the job done.
He's his accountability for it. I know what questions you need to ask.
you want to get some tough questions? I'm going to give you a list of tough
Oh,
questions.
Thanks, Mike.
But I know Byron. I mean, we started within a week of each other. I
I'll
think.
bring you, Mike.
Yeah, he's pretend like he's new.
This week.
It's
He's a
not.
baby agent again.
We started at the same time within a week of each other at its office on Victoria Street. Right?
Wow, really?
So you've seen all this before. Have you been over the course of your last couple of years really tracking what your conversions are? So have you guys been granular with your business at all? No, not at all. And Byron, you left all those up, got rid of the habits.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Okay, well, great. So at the very least, let's take the next 3 or 4 months here with the system and start getting granular. So that next year, you know exactly what it is that you're planning, right? You can work off MREA numbers, but like I said, I'm certain that your conversion rates are probably both better than that, given your experience and given what you could do. So let's start really getting granular with where's my leads coming from? Where's my best source of leads? What are my conversions actually doing? You guys spend the next few months really getting granular with that stuff. Then when it comes time to do business planning clinic for 2025, you're gonna have actuals, right? So take the next 3 or 4 months as your test. Get your numbers in line so that next year you're not working off of 4 instances. This is what MRVA says. You know, I think I'm probably around. No, let's get exact with it. And then next year you can set up your plan so that you know every single Monday when you talk to your accountability partner whether or not you're actually going to have the year you're supposed to have. All right, lose a day, fine. Lose 2 days, fine. Lose a week, you're starting to get up shit's creek. Lose that a month.
Just to put it into perspective, I haven't been doing this for very many years. I just seriously started tracking January of 2024. And in just 6 months, I have enough data to know exactly how many open houses I need to hold, because I know my average open house, I have 7 people come through my open house.
How many of those people are on average unrepresented?
About 25%. So now I know, okay, well, if my conversion on my open houses is that much, how many open houses do I really need to do to get that many people, to speak to that many people? I know based on my calculations, every time someone says no to me, I just made $74 because of my conversion on my cold calls and my conversion on my database. So I strive for those no's. Yeah, go ahead, say no to me all day long, because I just made $74 every time you say no to me, because it gets me that much closer to a yes. That's what conversion does for you, because you can track on your granular level exactly where you need to make your adjustments.
That's a fun win too, right? Somebody
Great
tells
win.
you to screw up, you're like $75.
$75.
You know, I don't know if you find this pretty too, when you know your numbers, you have so much clarity.
So
going
much
into the
clarity.
day, and
So much clarity.
There's this calm,
Yep.
like, I didn't seriously track me until this year either, and my goal always is 2 appointments a day, right?
Yep.
And when I book this 2 appointments a day, I do have accountability. I texted to my coach and then I put it in Slack for the team to see, because I would them as well. But I feel successful because I know I did my job.
Yep.
I booked 2 appointments a day because I know those 2 appointments is gonna help us hit our goals.
Yep.
as a market center.
And what's one of the best parts that comes from being able to say, hey, I hit my appointment goal today? One of the best parts is celebrating the little wins along the way. We're in a business where really and truly, what is it? It's like one great day on a monthly basis where something you're like, yes, deal's gonna get done. Maybe you get a couple of those in a month. You got a lot of days in that month where you're not feeling any wins, but they're there.
Yeah.
You know, if I didn't set an appointment today, I know my job's not done.
But that's a win.
Right? If I set the appointment, hey, that's a win.
Yeah, if you set the.
Let's go celebrate that. I don't have to call anybody to say that we're not going somewhere because I chose to go golfing today again.
Which you can if you hit your
That's it.
goals.
You got
That's the whole
your
point,
appointment
right?
set by noon. Tea time at 1:30.
There you go.
Right? Yeah, so like I said, if you guys have any questions with the spreadsheet, this is your guy. I do the coaching around it, the accountability portions of it. He's your man when it comes to the technology on how to put it all together. So,
Question for you, if you didn't have Mike holding you accountable, do you think you'd be hitting your goals?
No, because it would get easy to lie with my numbers, right? Now I know this is just a layer of, because okay, Mike's gonna be taking vacations too. This allows me to hold myself accountable too, when Mike's not here. But if Mike wasn't there and I was doing this by myself, then I'm like, okay, well, this week I only got 20 contacts. It's okay. Or tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and I'm just gonna be sitting in front of TV all day eating snacks. I'm not gonna make my calls. I'm not gonna make my contacts. But the second I know in my mind I'm gonna have to tell Mike that I didn't do that and I just watched TV all day,
Yeah.
then it's a problem. Not because it's managerial, but now someone else is keeping me accountable to my activities and my goals.
it helps. I gotta say, like when I walk into my Monday meeting with Andre and things are not where they're supposed to be from last week, I go in there and it's like, okay, here we go. This is not, what's he gonna tell me to do now? You know what I mean? And so if I didn't have that portion, give me a second, if I didn't have that portion of accountability, it's very simple to just say, yeah, do this.
Yeah.
So when I come in there, first I met with you guys, it's Preet and Autumn do the accountability for the rest of the agents on the team. And then I meet with Preet and Autumn, and once we go through everything, okay, perfect. I can go have a good meeting with Andre now. Or it's Preet and Autumn, what the hell? Now we gotta have a shitty meeting because I gotta go have a shitty meeting. How are we gonna all stay accountable to make sure that doesn't happen? Sylvia, did something say?
Absolutely. So on accountability, we also do that in our productivity coaching program. We follow this model. We totally adopted it because it's so awesome. Thank you, Preet. And so with your one-on-one bi-weekly call and your weekly midweek check-in, we always touch base on that too. So
Yeah, I
more around that.
think we told everybody to come see you at PC coaching if
Yeah,
they want
and
accountability.
Friday mastermind,
You don't
yeah.
have an accountability partner yet.
Yeah. So it's just so they know it's similar.
And
Yeah.
it doesn't, the accountability doesn't have to be a formal meeting, like it can be as simple as texting an accountability partner. Your numbers, like what was your daily goal and you hit it, like there are some times I've had to text my coach 0, it's like, great, so it's 4 tomorrow, I'm like, yep. It's
I
4
mean, that's
tomorrow,
even,
you gotta double up.
you're into daily accountability.
Yeah,
And you can take that, Beard, I don't know if you can take it much more granular than
But
that, like
daily, I
hourly.
would say
Like,
is that
could you
I
have
think
me every
daily
hour?
is a good start, and what I will say is you'll find something magical happens after like 3-4 weeks. It now becomes a habit for you, it's just instilled in you. So like when I wake up, my one thing is booking those 2 appointments. That's my 20%, right? And then everything else follows after that. So that's the power of knowing your numbers. It's just having clarity on what you're working on each day and what success looks like.
And then we treat it like a game, right? It's just for like, hey, can I hit my goals today? And then
Yeah,
okay, what can I do tomorrow to hit my goals? And just more like challenge yourself. Don't make it a burden, make it fun. And then how do I reward myself at the end of the day? Maybe your favorite thing is to go play golf. Okay, let's go. You know, just find that little like incentive for
Yeah.
yourself.
so important.
Because the thing is, it's very easy for me to say to myself, "Oh, I just hit zeros this week. It's fine." I
Yeah.
can say that to myself next week. I can say that to myself the week
Well,
after.
if you
Because that's what would happen if
Yes, again.
if Mike wasn't in the room, right? That's exactly what accountability does. Is
Yeah.
now I have to say to him, "I got zeros," and
Yeah.
he's like, "Okay, that's fine."
To be fair, you got
Next
two
week he's
for
gonna be
this
like,
week,
"What's
right?
going on?"
Too firm this week. That's what accountability does.
So that's where it helps, right? Because now it's harder for me to say zeros to him week after week after week after week. It's harder.
I
to say.
think part of it too is when you're forced to say it out loud or text it becomes reality.
becomes
You're like,
real.
oh, that's really shitty.
Yeah.
I'm not good with that.
And your accountability isn't here to, your partner's not here to give you shit. That's not what it's about. It's about the fact that you told me this is what you want to get out of your year.
Yeah.
I'm just here to make sure that you stick to it.
Yeah.
You don't let yourself off the hook. Therefore, I can't let you off the hook. Otherwise, you might as well,
I found accountability, it made you productive, not busy.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge difference.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what-
I was having a hard time, like I went through 2 or 3 different people that just kept falling off. I was like, I found when they were there, I was more productive. When they weren't, I was just busy,
Mhm.
right? So that's what I found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Good
found
point.
having a good accountability partner made
Mhm.
Absolutely. Is that what you're doing now?
Yeah, and if he doesn't do anything, I'm kicking his ass.
he is my brother, so
I'm not making you call that guy. I'm gonna beat you down. I don't think we can go there. Shit,
But I can't know.
like an HR something somewhere.
I think
Did you guys see Mike and Preet fighting in the parking lot again?
That's just our accountability.
Looks like Mike lost the accountability. this week. Do you have any more questions before we let you guys go here? Respect your time.
And
Time's over.
you guys will send that to Slack.
It's sure.
Good luck.
You've already got a copy of it.
he hasn't said it yet.
Ah,
Yeah, she has. It's in the general channel.
Oh, yeah.
He's muted the channels.
Yeah. Except for mine, right? I always like to ask, what's one thing you're going to take away with you and implement this week? Yeah, so you're gonna start doing that with.
And just so you know, every question that Mike asked me, it's oh my god.
Oh, you put it in there?
Yeah, what worked, what
Nice.
didn't work, and based on what worked and what didn't work, what's my next week's focus?
Nice.
So Phil Jones says the worst time to think about what you're gonna say is in the moment you're gonna say it. So now I don't have to think about it. I know he's gonna ask me, so my answer is right there. What worked, what didn't work, what am I gonna do next week?
that's why you're always so quick to answer me.
Yeah.
And he's smart. All right, what about you, Byron? It's your. one
It's a
thing.
good reminder to track your goals. I mean, we tracked
Yeah.
for many years. And like Mike was saying, sometimes you just get off and you don't do it. And then you get a week and 2 weeks becomes a month and month becomes years. So having this in front of you and focusing on it,
Yeah,
we focus on expense, I think it makes a big difference.
can I make a suggestion for your one thing then to implement?
Sure.
Is, you share the spreadsheet with Jen.
Okay.
And you and Jen start filling it out from the beginning.
Start to life by design.
Yeah,
If you implement
Yeah.
that part, the rest will start taking care of
Yeah.
itself. Now, Byron, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You tracked for so many years.
Mhm.
You said you were regimented about that.
Mhm.
When did you stop?
Becoming unfocused,
Mhm.
I guess.
Business was just rolling, and everything was kind
You
of
become
good.
complacent, things are good. Complacency, yeah, things are good, complacency.
And then when things start to go a little bit more difficult, you're like,
Then you go to the shelf and you dust things off. Like,
Yeah.
You
say.
just think off, you're like,
You're so
okay,
smart
go
outside,
back to
right?
two down
Here
here.
it is.
maybe I'll come back. I'll go hang out.
Yeah, maybe there, yeah.
2022 plan.
Well, hey, that's clarity.
It's exciting, yeah.
Yeah,
Clarity around what you had done and what you're gonna do again. Exciting.
Very.
I would say even if like you complete this, all these tabs, that's like, most agents do not do that. It takes what, like maybe 2 hours of just like,
I don't even think it's gotta take you that long to get
Yeah.
through it. I mean, everything
30
moves
minutes,
moves
an
its
hour.
way through
Yeah.
life by design. You throw that together and your economic model, and before you know it, everything is populated.
the time block
Now-
an hour.
You know what we didn't touch? We didn't touch the pipeline.
Oh yeah. Very
Are
quickly.
you guys okay with 3 or 4
It's gonna
more
take me
minutes?
like 30 seconds.
Go,
So,
go.
something else that I also track is, like I mentioned, the leads are only for a year. So anyone who tells me they're doing something in the year, their name goes into my pipeline. The reason for that is now they're top of mind for me, and I can actually track them outside of my CRM. So If, for example, you told me, Preet, I'm gonna sell my house in September, great. As soon as we hang up, I'm putting your name down right over here in September. So that way, that already in Q2, I'm calling everyone who told me they're moving in Q3 because what do I know? If they tell me a timeline, it's half of that. So I'm not calling you in Q3, I'm actually calling you in Q2 to see how your plan's going. So that way I know exactly who to call.
And then the one last thing that you can really use as a business measure, a leading metric for yourselves for next year is if you can start to realize how many people do I actually convert on my pipeline? If every person who's told me they're gonna do something I put there, right? And it took you about 6 months and you had like 185 people in there or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, at the end of your year, if you know you were able to take that 185 people and you did 20 deals out of it, you're approximately converting at 10%. Right? So now I've got another sort of check and balance that I know if I can put, 300 people in my pipeline, I'm likely to do 30 deals out of that. So if I spend the whole year building my pipeline out for next year, my sales funnel, and I can typically convert 10%, I probably have 30 deals in there. So now there's a couple things I need to know. If I want to do more than 30 deals, do I either A, have to make more contacts on a daily basis to put more people in that pipeline, or do I have to work on my follow-up game? Because maybe my follow-up game's a little bit weak. Maybe I should be converting this thing at 20%. I already know 50% is gonna stop because of market conditions, or I lost my job. You're gonna lose 50 no matter what. So you got 50% of those people left that you put in there. So now what's gonna happen with those 50% that are left? You're probably gonna lose half of them to another agent because they got a brother or family, somebody else, another agent that's been following up with them. All right, now you're down to like a quarter of it. So out of that quarter, why did I lose 15% still? What's my problem? Did I lose more to more agents? Am I not staying in touch enough? Should I be calling these people? If they say they're gonna do something probably in the fall and I'm sitting here in July, how frequently should I be talking to that person?
Probably weekly.
Weekly.
Yeah, weekly.
Offering
And by
value.
talking, do you mean like on the phone or different ways of adding value?
Different
and
ways that
offering
you can add
Okay.
value, whether it's an email, giving them
So
a market
weekly
updates,
nurture.
weekly nurture. You need to be hearing from me on a
It could be
weekly
something
basis.
as simple as hey, there's a very comparable property here that you just sold. I just wanted to fire this over to you so that you got some ideas of what's coming towards you in the next few months.
It's doable.
Would you change up the touch points?
Well, once you're into that
Timeline,
close and you're talking every week, you're just finding something that's out there. Maybe you heard something about the interest rate adjustment. That could be a great thing to touch on this week with them. Maybe, like I said, there's a comp that just sold down the road, identical to their house pretty much. That's a great thing that I can touch them with next week. Week 3, I might be touching them just to ask them if there's anything that they might need some help with. You're a few months out from listing. Do you need any contractors? Is there anything you need from me that I can help you with? Week 4, we might be back into the monthly numbers again. Just wanted to let you know that over the last month, single attached homes dropped 4.5%.
Don't underestimate the power of that. I did that, for example, for my most recent sale that I did. We sold, it was a 2-bedroom condo. Average days on market is 48 days on market. I sold it in 6 days on market. And the reason I was able to do that is because I was doing that exact same thing that Mike just mentioned and preparing my seller. I was sending her market updates. I was letting her know that the prices have dropped. I was sending her everything that was being listed in her building. I was sending her everything that was sold. By the time I got to the appointment, it was the quickest appointment ever. She's like, I know exactly everything you're going to tell me.
And she's like almost
because
a
I've
market
already seen
expert
it.
now.
She's in the market expert now. I've sent her everything she needs to know. And when I tell her, Monica, you need to list at this price, she's like, okay.
And when you did your pre-call with her and you said, hey, listen, if everything goes the way to plan, would you be willing to move forward with me tonight? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there any other agents you're talking to that we might need to know about that you're interviewing for the job? No, why would I interview anybody else? Because for the past, 8 weeks,
Been adding
as it's been
value.
leading up to it, every week there's been a piece of value needs to be given here. So yes, your CRM does have its 60 touch or its 36 touch, whatever it is that you built yours out to. But your pipeline operates in addition to that. Everybody in here is in your CRM also, but this is that one snapshot.
Visual.
you don't wanna let things fall through the cracks. I don't care how great your CRM is with
I
your
agree.
command,
It is
follow
powerful
us,
to see it.
whatever that
here.
is, you
Yeah.
can miss a task, it might be one of 35 tasks that are set that you're supposed to do today, and you drop the ball on that one. That was your one thing that you shouldn't have dropped the ball on today, because that's a person that you could convert. So this is a great way just to have it in front of you and not let deals fall through the cracks. All of a sudden, you're like, oh shit, those Mike was gonna sell in the fall. It's in August. I better call him. Yeah, thanks for the call, Andrew, but I got 3 keys coming in for listing next week.
Another amazing like soft close would be like, hey, would it pose a problem for you if I showed up with that home staging checklist? Cause you're gonna be preparing your home to sell, and this way you can start checking off some of those things that you need to do in advance, so that when you're finally ready, you can market your property, get it sold for you.
Yeah, it sounds like a great question on your.
And then they're like, what, you're gonna come over and, yeah, we're gonna look at the property through the eyes of a buyer, and we're gonna like, you know, you live on the home one way and then you sell the home another way, we're gonna get you set up so that your home presents well. So just like that preemptive appointment before getting the listing signed, you're basically 50% of the way there, because they're like, of course they're gonna list with you after that. You can help them so much, you're coming from contribution.
Right, exactly. So your 411 and your pipeline tool, that's like an every Monday thing for us. We're gonna go through both of those things together. 411. And then typically speaking on there, there's one of your metrics is how many pipeline ads do I have this week? And I think are you 7 that you're trying to do on a weekly basis?
Yep.
Seven people go into that pipeline on a weekly basis. Right.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. This is great.
Thanks, guys.